I've been told to talk about disruptive technology and kind of wrap things together. So I've been thrown that task by Faye, so I'm the wild card. I want to walk around so that I can see you guys and talk to you, okay? And the flicker. Thanks. Which way does it go? Okay, cool. Okay. So I'm going to start to talk about neuroscience intelligence. It's a very disruptive technology that you may not have heard, but it is going to change your life. It is something that will help you to be alert in the boardroom. What is it all about? Finance CFO, who are we? We have so many roles. We play 4 different categories of roles. We are a strategic business partner to our CEOs and business line managers. And that means that in the boardroom, right now I have transformed from being reporting-centric to analytics-centric. So I've evolved my reporting role to evolve into pricing strategies, product diversification, strategic planning, equity financing. Our role has changed. And as a result of changing, we need to use information decision tools like business software. And what I use, I'm not advertising for any particular software company, but the one that I find really useful is Tableau, right? Tableau allows visualization. It allows you to really put your facts, although it may be in Excel or in your legacy system, Oracle and SAP, you are able to transform that by exporting EDI into an Excel, and from Excel, you can turn it via Tableau into visualization, into what Mikkel said, the dashboard. So that is very powerful. And our role at the same time is also to be a catalyst. So we need to lead the change. But how do you change? How do you transfer the strategies decided by the board downwards to the people in the company and exercise a change? So this change management would require us to be storyboarders. So our role are also a change manager in the form of a catalyst. And we need technology to help us do that too. And then we also have, I can't go back. Oh, I can go backward. Okay, we have to use technology such as what I'm going to introduce to you today that is practiced all over the world, but not very prevalent in the Western economy. And I'm going to bring it to here, the neuroscience intelligence. So how do we get there? These are all our roles today. How to be effective in the board, be effective in your role, be effective to your peers, and be effective to your subordinates. Well, I call it Toolbox because you need a toolbox to achieve 4 C's: capability, composure, creativity, and capacity. That's how we have to function. And in order to do that, we embrace technology to do that. And that means that why don't, instead of reinventing strategies, try to adopt the leaders in strategy making, 孙子 art of war. So I'm going to do a little bit of Chinese. 知己知彼百战百胜. Okay, that means you have to know your ground. You have to know your enemies. You've got to know your competitors. You need to know your suppliers in order to make a headway in your company and in the market. 孙子 art of war. So instead of reinventing, we can use 孙子 art of war in our decision-making and strategic planning. And neuroscience intelligence, in order to be an effective technology-driven CFO today, we use neuro intelligence to enable us to be more alert, to be able to read the people. Let me play a game. I explain to you why. Now you choose a number between 0 to 9. Everyone, okay? Choose a number between 0 to 9. Hands up if you have chosen a number. Anything from 0 to 9. So show me. Okay, you got it, okay? Now use that number and times 9 So if you choose 1, you times 9. 1 times 9, so you have 9, okay? Got it? Show me your hands if you got it, okay? Choose a number times 9. Okay, good. Now, take the number and minus 5. For CFOs, this is really simple, okay? Minus 5. Come on, show me you got the answer. Okay, now, with that number, if A is 1 and B is 2, then 3 is C, okay? So now, whatever number that you got, you have an alphabet, right? Okay, think of the first country that comes to mind. I can read your mind, all of you. And guess what? It's very strange. All of you are thinking of the same country. It's called Denmark. Show me your hands. Denmark. Who got Denmark? You guys didn't do it right. Okay, go home and practice. Now, the point is this. The whole point of doing this is to tell you that you have to have a systematic approach to tell a storyboard story to the board using technology and using structured approach. So using neuroscience intelligence, using visual analytics, using business analytics is going to help you explain your strategies to the board. It's all encompassing. So I'll speed up here. So I explained business intelligence and human intelligence. Now, business intelligence is very important to my company. I'm an image processing company. We use algorithms to read the images from the stores, outlets like Pepsi-Cola, Procter & Gamble, Unilever's. And these are processed via algorithms and comes out with analytics to help the manufacturers, okay? And business intelligence is so important because we use what we call a heat map to enable our manufacturers to know which stock is selling where best by whom. And all this is done only when we use business intelligence. Now then, the profiling human intelligence is also important because you need to understand the buyer's sentiment, the buyer's preference, and the emotions. So you can see, as finance, all these technologies are so critical to us performing in our role as CFO. We are no longer the backroom people, we are at the forefront. And it's not just about artificial intelligence. It's also about sentiment. It's also about the customer. And that's where neuroscience intelligence is important and plays a strong part. Okay, now we are all accountants. We are very strong in our left brain. So you think you are a left brainer, but you'd be surprised. Actually, even if you are a left brainer, you have to hone and be more astute because with artificial intelligence now taking over a lot of our mundane transactions, we are now left with a certain threat, especially when we are doing a lot of mundane transactional processing. We have to elevate ourselves to doing more of using creativity to process the data, to then enable the visualization by having random thinking, by having emotions, by having imagination, and using business intelligence to make colorful and clear visualization of our point. So the right brain, my fellow accountants, are getting more important. How's your right brain? Get to know your right brain. I'll show you face right brain in a moment. This is not face brain. This is something that I bought from the Shutterstock. This is an illustration of how we normally process our thinking and our data that comes through. Now, data comes through sometimes by structured and unstructured, right? Social media, legacy system, SAP, Oracle, whatever data that you use, we visually see it, we smell it, we touch. We also have all the senses working when we have the data flowing through our body. It will go through a hypothalamus, which will regulate our behavior and condition. And after which, our brainstem will then regulate our consciousness and unconsciousness, our intuition. It will process through our CPU called thalamus, and the sensory cortex will make it into our memory, and together with the emotion and the interaction of all that, with the individual clarity and speed of your thought, which is different from every one of you, we will have what we call an intellect. So it is extremely important for accountants to really brush up our right brain to catch up with our left brain, because otherwise, artificial intelligence can take over our job. So, yeah. 50% of our neurons. Neurons are electrical synapses that communicate in our brain. We have millions of them in the brain. 50% of them is sitting right here at the back, okay? Then that governs your physical regulation. But 35% actually are used in your CPU to generate and to process the data via visual analytics, but also through emotions, yeah? And 15% is actually your capacity to think, to drive it, and the clarity of thought, the ability to transform complex information into simplistic, rationalized facts. Don't you think that is very important? If you can manage your brain, you can then manage the data. What's the use of having loads of data, but you don't know how to manage it because you don't know how your brain is functioning? Okay? And therefore, my hypothesis today is that it's not just visual intelligence, it's not just business intelligence, but it is also your neuro intelligence that plays a very important part in turning data into effective decision making. I'll prove the point. In Procter & Gamble, do you know that when you go into a store, and when it is a true story, okay? The people that buy Pampers, baby diapers, when they go into the store to buy baby Pampers, they end up also buying beer. Okay? Data analytics can't handle that, right? It will not make sense, but we understand that when you have a young kid and all, you probably need a beer to handle the diapers, okay? So my point is that neuroscience tells you the emotions and the softer aspects that data analytics can't. So you need it in the form to help you enable decision making. Okay, so I'll go into neuroscience very quickly. Neuroscience is almost like running a car, guys, especially guys. It's a performance car, okay? It's a luxury performance car. Now, let's start with the self-regulation. This is our dashboard, okay? This is our car dashboard, the self-regulation quotient. It regulates your attentiveness, concentration, and relaxation. Why this combination? Because when my company research lab is in Israel, okay? And in Israel, when you go through the security, it's quite an experience. I mean, the people will really be very attentive. It is none like anywhere else in the world. When they go through security, they'll be looking at you right through your eyes, and they'll notice the way you breathe and the way you behave. That's called attentiveness, okay? And concentration, meaning that when you tell a point to the board, or when you are talking to your board member, are you able to hold that attention and focus on an issue and then have that stamina to get the board to understand that issue right to the end? That's called concentration. And then at the same time, you got to relax when you're going through all that. And that's the dashboard. That's the self-regulation. Now, then you have the symmetry. Symmetry is what we call the tires, the suspension, making sure your left and right tires are in balance. That's symmetry, your left and right brain in balance. Then you have the activity quotient, which is your accelerator. You want to think fast. Differentiation between a good CFO and an excellent CFO is that you're able to think fast on your feet, and that's called activity quotient. Emotional quotient is the surround system. It's your sound system. You regulate your mood. The board might not be happy with you, but you got to regulate your mood. You got to convince and manage them over. Emotional quotient, anti-stress is your framework. It's your car framework. You have to have all this running together so that you have a framework that runs. That's called a performance car. And you are the performance vehicle for the board. So let's go to the next one. How do you get there? How do you get there? The training. And there are equipment, this is the equipment that Faye used yesterday, and this is the equipment that we had her doing. Now you can train because here it's simple. You will be able to regulate all that. Oh, sorry. You'll be able to regulate all that by having training on your, you're able to use your mind to bend the spoon, just with your brain. Bend the spoon. You're able to also form glass, you're able to drive, and you're able to shoot the dart, all with the use of brain without the hands. And that over time will enable you to be really sharp, and it's proven. And I'll show you a very quick testimonial from various doctors all over the world that shows that. So training is important. And then you have, it's not about art, it's not fluffy. These are scientific reports that comes out from the research lab of your own individual brain, so that you will be able to know your left and right performance, your emotional quotient, and this is your symmetry. So all these, and this is a summary of how your whole brain is functioning at the moment. Don't you want to get to know your brain? You might be having 3,000 cc car, but you might be only using 1,000. Faye is using 2,500. You got to know your brain. The volume, please.
하셨습니다. 계속 같은 자세로 두 번 상태 부착을 시작하겠습니다. 편안한 자세로 카메라 쳐다봐 주시기 바랍니다.
These are examples of the training you can do. The actual example, this guy is only using his brain, not using his hands. His hands are not moving. And these are your memory, making sure that you memorize. And you are using your brain to recall the planets of the Earth, and it's coming out on the screen, just using your brain. And that is nobody's touching it, it's just the brain. And your own individual reports of your brain. All the waves that are functioning, the capacity, how many cc you're running in your brain, how are you handling your stress, your left and right stress, your physical stress. How attentive and aware are you? How balanced is your left and right brain? And composed are you in handling your emotions in the boardroom? And the discipline to regulate everything in your dashboard. And this is a synopsis. So it's very important that you know your brain. And with training, this is before training. After training, you would have your brain waves like this. You want to get there? Thank you.